First, a new twist in the Fort Hood shooting case, a surprisingly short defense. A potentially big day at the trial of Major Nidal Hasan ended in less than 15 minutes.
That stage was set for the accused Fort Hood shooter to present his case to the panel before closing arguments and deliberations. But as it turned out, none of that happened. Chris Sadeghi is at Fort Hood and explains why.
Several months ago, Major Nidal Hasan said that he wanted to defend himself in this trial, but so far he's done very little. And on Wednesday, given the chance to present his case, he did nothing.
The proceedings began with Osborne instructing Hasan to begin his defense. Hasan said, quote, "The defense rest," end quote.
And just like that, what was expected to be a big day in court fizzled. Even closing arguments were delayed so both sides could prepare the charge and instructions for the jury. 89 witnesses over 11 days were presented by the prosecution. Hasan cross-examined only a select few. His defense of himself, hardly anything at all, even though he denies his co-counsel's assertion that he's trying to secure a death sentence. Even with only one side of the case to consider, the jury still has a lot on their plate. They are expected to have the option to convict Hasan on lesser charges, either unpremeditated murder or possibly voluntary manslaughter if they feel necessary. And they'll have to go case by case through the 13 victims who were killed and the 32 injured.
Osborne instructed both parties to review documents which included more than 700 pieces of evidence for their admissibility and for the panel's consideration during deliberations.
And the panel will begin their deliberations after the closing arguments end on Thursday. And no matter how clear the evidence may seem, those deliberations could take a while. They have to go item by item through the 45 counts and determine whether Hasan is guilty or not guilty and of what offense. We're at Fort Hood. Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
We took a closer look at how the Army punished other soldiers who killed their comrades. There have been five deadly soldier-on-soldier attacks since the start of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that includes the Fort Hood shootings. The other 4 cases happened in Iraq. 1 soldier was sentenced to death. The other 3 received sentences of life in prison. One of those men was allowed to plead guilty in exchange for prosecutors dropping the death penalty. Military rules will not allow a soldier to plead guilty to receive the death penalty.